In this initial tutorial, I just want us to go over some of the basic learning components that are self-contained inside of Adobe Photoshop. This is the start screen that we're looking at right now, the launch screen. Once you launch Adobe Photoshop, you should see something that looks like this. You should definitely see this column of links over on the left and a banner that looks similar to this. Below here are previous files that I've opened, so you definitely won't see that in your particular files. I want to focus right now though on the learning component. So I'm going to click over here on Learn and say that in this exercise I'd just like you to go over the 4 modules that are at the top here. Alright, there's one called Get to Know the App, Get to Know Layers, Get to Know Selections, and Add an Image. Just some fundamental things that we'll need to learn before we move ahead inside of Photoshop. Now, there are several other excellent tutorials down here if you ever want to venture into them. They are very good and they're very slick and definitely beneficial. Alright, but for our exercise today, just to get started, we're just going to do these learning modules at the top. So I'm going to click on the first one just to kind of let you see what it looks like. What it does is it actually launches inside of the program and pops up this panel called Discover. And you can see in the middle there's a blue button called Start Tutorial. So it basically will give you little text box instructions and arrows around the screen directing you to follow its prompts. So if I click Start Tutorial, it's going to load up the necessary images, and you can see here in the section called Layers that has provided me with 4 distinct layers. The instructions are inside of the blue panels, and it will briefly give you an explanation of this panel called Layers and ask you to click Next to continue. So I will just click Next. I'm not going to read it out verbatim right now. Here is actually instructions. It's saying drag the flower layer above the woman layer. Dragging a layer in the Layers panel changes the order of the images on the canvas. So I will just go in here and you can see the little hand, and I can drag it and you'll see a little blue line. And when you see the blue line, let it go. And I hope you noticed the flowers are now above the woman in the layer stack, if you will. Alright, and then it's asking us to click Next. So it's going to give you directions and prompt you to do various things. I'll just do 1 or 2 more here. There's a little arrow pointing at the eye icon on the woman layer. It's telling me to click on it to turn it off so that I can focus on other layers. So that's an introduction to the visibility feature, which is the little eye icon in your layers. Okay, I'll click Next as it's asking. Oh, let me go back here. Previous, I clicked it once too many times. Click Next. And it's introducing me to the toolbar over on the left, as you can see, and giving me further instructions. So I'm not going to waste your time on this demo by going through each one of these, but you can see how it works. So just go through them, follow the prompts, and at the end, do a save as, and save it as your last name underscore 01A through D, if you will, for the 4 files. I may get you to submit these on Canvas, but we'll discuss that in class. Alright, so your instructions are to go to the learning component and learn the 4 top components. Let me just go back here. I'm going to kick out to the start screen. Again, under the Learn button, you will find these 4 modules at the top. And as you click them one at a time, it will populate the Photoshop files with the necessary elements and then give you instructions through the Discover panel. So those are your brief instructions on how to do these learning modules in our first class for this semester.